I would like, do we want to try and do a mock
I
on?
I clicked the button.
Is it
Did
live?
you? I clicked go
I didn't
live.
touch anything. Are we live? Are we trolling? Oh, Danny just lagged out here. Oh, God. What a mess. Are we live? Are we live? Can't tell. Hold on. Let's double check here.
Yeah, no, I just refreshed my stream. No, okay, go live.
It says we're live on YouTube right now. Hold on.
Wait, what? Yeah, we are live.
You're live. All right, we're live. I don't know why the heck it's... Okay.
Yo.
I just hit the go live button and it just went live for me. Either way,
We're
what a
live.
complete mess. StreamYard decided to bug out at the very worst possible time. Appreciate you guys for tuning in here. What we're going to do is have some serious conversations here about dynasty value. It's the mid-season point of the dynasty season. A lot of people, this is very much, me and Danny were just yapping about this for literally 20 minutes behind the curtain here. So what we're going to do, what I was going to say before we went live is, do we want to try and do a startup mock on the site so that our expert rankings are the ADP? And I think it's probably a better idea that we do, because sleeper ADP is going to be wonky as hell and it's not going to be updated whatsoever. So I think it's probably smart that we do a mock draft on the site. So what we're going to do, for those of you guys that don't know, is we have mock drafts available on our site, and you can go in and you can join the queue. And this is a Dynasty Superflex startup mock with rookies. And basically what happens is this lobby will fill up and we'll all get to do mock drafts. So hopefully we can fill this up. We'll give it like 5 minutes. If it's not filling up, then we can pivot over to sleeper or something like that.
Oh, I thought you were going to invite me first.
Just join the lobby. You just go to the main lobby.
Okay. I'm just scared that they're going to beat me in here.
They're not. I don't think you're going to have any issue about that. But I will drop the link in the chat to join the mock draft. Anybody who is a site subscriber or non-subscriber can join. If you've made an account on the site and you're not an active subscriber, you should still be able to use this feature and join the mock draft with us. This will make for a better experience. The reason I want to fill this up is because our dynasty rankings, mine and yours specifically, are fully up to date as of today. The other creators, I'm sure, have updated theirs within the last week or so. Sleeper ADP will not be up to date, and we'll have to, scroll around, and players are going to forget who's where and all that kind of stuff. So let's get this mock draft filled up. I really would love to do this on the site so that we can get some accurate data of where players are going.
Is there any way to randomize the order?
There is not, I don't think. It's just going to put us in random order. Unless you want to just claim a different spot, so we're at opposite ends of the board, maybe. I'll go to the back of the board if you want to go to the top.
No disrespect, WebLip, but I kind of want to demonstrate a big point of my ranking, so I will have to swap. Okay, 102. Yeah, that works. It goes back to what Jamie said. I did a sweeping update of my dynasty rankings, and Drake May is my first overall ranked player. We are quite literally looking at a 22 point per game, 23-year-old quarterback with what I would describe as probably the biggest ascending situation in the league. What if they trade for AJ Brown? What if they fucking draft an elite wide receiver? Like, he's already 22 points per game, and he's a top 5 quarterback in the league already.
Yeah. So the argument me and Danny were having is Drake May is currently my 105. 104. I moved him ahead of Jamar Chase after we were discussing it a little bit. Part of it is that I'm factoring in, okay, this is still relatively a small sample size. We did this with CJ Stroud, who, was vaulted all the way up to a top 3 to 5 startup pick. And yes, Drake May runs the football, is producing better for fantasy, but it's possible that, the defenses get more tape on him. There's a little bit more of a floor baked in, I think, to my ranking personally, just because Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have such a ludicrous track record of being aliens. And Drake May, as great as he is, and absolutely alien is his ceiling, he does not have that current track record at this point in time. So that's kind of my only pushback against ranking him 101. I will say the best argument for ranking him 101 is saying that he gives you the most flexibility of any player in Dynasty, and in the open market might be worth the most.
Well, that's part of it. I have a 4-man tier up top: Drake May, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, my top 4 overall startup picks, my top 4 overall quarterbacks. For me, it's pretty simple. If I can get the reroll, and again, keep in mind, like you mentioned, in terms of build, Drake May fits any build. If you have Josh Allen, if you have Lamar Jackson, 28-year-old quarterbacks, you're probably going to have to go into an immediate contending build. With Drake May at 23 years old, you have the luxury in your startup draft to be able to pick and choose. If the value of young players ends up falling, you could build a young monster team that could dominate within these next couple of years along Drake May. Oh, shoot, a veteran talent that can help you compete right away falls, you can build an immediate startup contender. So with Drake May, to me, you're looking at a superstar quarterback that's 23 years old, whose situation's getting better. I think by next year, we could be looking at a 25, 26, 27 point per game scorer, like a Lamar Jackson, like a Josh Allen, and you're getting the benefit of 5 to 7 years of age.
Yeah, there's like I said, you're not going to hear me argue any of the upside case for Drake May. Not going to hear me argue any of it. I just am baking in a tiny little bit of downside risk that things could change from the current state that they're in right now.
Yeah, I honestly don't think there's this floor with him. Like, I'm looking at his floor compared to a Joe Burrow, a Justin Herbert, a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I think that level of quarterback is what he already is. So it's scary, man. We could be looking at quite literally the face of the NFL within the next couple of years.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. I think you're absolutely spot on with that take, but I absolutely no pushback I have in regards to that. I'm going to throw this this link to join the mock in the Discord if you want to answer some questions in the meantime here.
Wait, sorry. Danny was in on Drake May, and I was too low. He was too low last. Oh yeah, no, Drake May was absolutely too low last offseason, and don't you worry, Travis Hunter is he's back where I had him. He's back where I had him. Is the sneak peek I'll give you. Sorry, what were you saying? My apologies. I read a comment.
I said, can you? I'm throwing the link to the mock everywhere so that people will join it. Okay. If you want to just answer some comments in the meantime.
Oh yeah, got you. I could do that very easily. Dynasty rankings change so frequently these days. I just focus on tiers. I don't care who's 1, 2, or 3 in the tier. Just want to, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think tier base is going to be the matter. And don't get me wrong, Allen and Jackson, along with Jaden Daniels, are in that tier. But yeah, if I had the first overall startup pick, Drake May would be my selection. Should I flex Rico, Spears, or Hunter? Travis Hunter. Can you guess where I have him in my wide receiver rankings this week?
He's a top 20 play for me, I think, or a top 24 play for me this week. So he's pretty high for me as well, especially we don't know for sure if BTJ is going to be back or whatever the case is with his health at this point in time. So I'm ranking him as if BTJ plays. But if BTJ is out, I'll probably move him out.
Oh yeah. If BTJ is out, we could be even looking at like a top 12, top 15 receiver.
Yeah, he's definitely a top 15 play against the Raiders for sure.
I have him, I think, wide receiver 18. So we're about in line there. I'm baking it a little bit, but at the same time, I've been pretty vocal on Twitter. I would not be shocked if after the season it gets announced that Brian Thomas Jr. has been playing with the torn labrum. Yeah.
I'm going to up the ante to get this mock draft filled. If anybody who joins this mock is in it, that doesn't make any sense. Anybody who joins this mock will get a free trade question and start sit question voucher.
Let's up the ante.
Join the mock. If you guys have a Flock Fantasy site subscription, whether it's active or not, you should be able to join this mock draft. And also, if you're in here wanting the mock to get filled, hammer the like button so more people see the stream and more people join it.
One caveat, by the way, you guys join, of course, if you stay throughout the mock. We don't want someone to join and draft 3 rounds. If you draft 3 rounds and then dip the mock, you will not be getting the trade or start sit question. If you finish it with us, then you will.
There you go.
Clarify it.
But yeah, there's so many discussions that I'm excited to have. And I really, really do want to do this on the site so that we have accurate, up-to-date rankings and people can understand and recognize what we're doing here as opposed to, the sleeper ADP where it's just going to be who can find the deepest buried name. Like, for example, like somebody's just going to reach down and find Rondé Gadsden when nobody had any idea where he was.
They're going to post a screenshot. Look at my mock draft. This is awesome. And they just got all the guys that were way too low in those rankings.
Yeah, no, exactly. So let's get this thing filled up. If anybody has people that they know, the tough thing is that it's a weekday during the work hours. So maybe this is going to be difficult for that reason. But
we see 85 in here. Surely we got 85 Flock accounts,
Hopefully. That's why I'm firing it into the domain Discord and stuff, because there's probably like 37 of them doing mocks right now because domain's community is absolutely insane. King Drewski said, won't let me join. Okay. If you're trying to join via the link here, I'll draft link copy to clipboard. I'll pop it back into the live chat here. Hopefully that link works for you. Maybe try logging out and logging back in if it's not currently working. It should work. The link that I gave you. And if it's not, you can also just go to the Dynasty Startup Superflex mock or whatever. Okay, King Drewski is in. We also had one more.
I see you in here. I see you in here.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just looking for 3 more people, and then we can get this thing started. And this would be gorgeous because I do want to get a really, really good view of this. Okay, we got one more. Ball is Life. FF is in.
Yep.
Okay, just 2 more people, and then we can get this thing going. In the meantime, if you guys have some pressing Dynasty questions, let us know in the chat here.
Corey, by the way, every take that Mason had about like calling someone else a fish in that draft video has actually materialized so bad for him.
Because Sal and Nathan, well, I mean, he called Nathan a fish most of the time, which is materialized quite well.
No. But I'm saying like he did it on the Judkins pick. Judkins smashed. He did it on Warren over Hawkinson. Warren obviously way better than Hawkinson. And there was one late too. He called Nick a fish because he's like, yeah, sure. You want to take the last starting quarterback when everyone else in the league has one, and the quarterback he picked was Drake May.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Good way to start. Good way to start. I do warn you though, it's quite addicting once you get into the flow.
Yeah. What do we got? One more person. Indoline said, "Well, let me claim, but I see you in here."
I see you in
All
here.
Right, straw man. There we go. We're full.
Stu man.
Let's get into it. Draft should be starting automatically in a second here. I don't think I have to click anything to get it started, so we should just be ready to go. But yeah, this is going to be fun, man, because we have not actually, this is the first time you and I have ever streamed the mock draft simulator on our site, period. Mainly because there was a couple of bugs with it at the time, and a lot of people wanted to just use Sleeper. But this, for Dynasty stuff, like, I mean, you're not going to get anything accurate using Sleeper for mock drafts right now because
they don't update
this is the only place that you're going to really find accurate ADP in general, because the ADP is our expert rankings, which is all of us update at least weekly in the Dynasty space here. So this should get started here. It says draft starting soon. Is Bucky healthy after the bye? Need to drop White, Tootin, or Brashard Smith? I would not drop Rashad White yet. I think they're optimistic that he'll be healthy after the bye. I would say there's like probably a 75% chance he is, but there is the outside shot that he is not. So I personally would probably drop Brashard Smith because I do think that it will be Kareem Hunt who gets the majority of the work without Pacheco, maybe for the next week or two or however long until the bye the Chiefs have. And I think that Tootin is the higher upside handcuff of him and Brashard Smith, so I'd probably hold him. But if you needed production right away, I suppose you could roll with Byshell Tootin as the drop.
Corey, I swear the funniest part of the last Flock League video was when Mason was going through Nathan's old team versus his team now. And he's like, we went from Quinton Judkins and Derrick Henry to Jalen Warren and Kareem Hunt. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know how Nathan managed to pull that off. That
shit was funny. Sorry.
It says waiting for owner. I'm assuming whoever was first into this lobby is the owner of it. So I'm hoping that one of these people didn't join this lobby like 2 days ago and it didn't fill in time.
Were you not the first one in here?
No, I was not. I think there was a person or two in here when we joined.
Yeah, whoever has the start the draft button, can we get on it?
Yeah, everyone double check to make sure it doesn't say start draft for you here. I'll give it another minute or two, and if not, I might have to start our own personal lobby here, so that I can physically start the draft here.
Please take us out the gulag.
Yeah, I would love to just get into this draft ideally.
Oh my god.
Here, I'm gonna start another lobby just in case this one doesn't start, and as the owner of the lobby, I'll be able to start it. So let's get this. I'm gonna start a private draft here. If you want to answer some questions while I'm doing this.
What is the start for Dynasty? I mean, just taking on value. Usually you want to take an anchor quarterback or an elite wide receiver as your first pick. Usually I tend to want to leave with an elite wide receiver plus an elite quarterback, 2 elite quarterbacks or 2 elite wide receivers in the first 2 rounds. Unless you're at the 1-2 turn, you want to take a Bijan, you want to take a Gibbs, that's probably where I'll be. But ultimately, I want to leave with the most flexibility in my first 2 rounds. Once I leave with flexibility, at that point, rounds 3 through 7, you just keep pouncing on the opportunity. If you can still build flexible after those first 2 rounds, it lends you the opportunity to not pigeonhole into a certain structure.
Q, don't be messing with us here. If it says start draft for you, click that.
Yeah. This guy's definitely trolling.
He's definitely trolling because I think I know his username also, and I don't see him in here.
I thought Januj was the first one in here.
I think he was. Yeah, I think it's possible that he's the. If you guys want to join this other draft, I am the host of it, so that I can actually start it, and I believe I can start it even if it's not full. So, we should be okay here. He said, "Yeah, it's me, Corey." Yeah, okay. Okay. This other draft is filling up.
It's not letting me join. It's not letting me join. I can't click that link in StreamYard, bro. You have to send it to private.
Okay, here, I'll send it to private chat for you. Hey, everybody is able to join this one, and I'm the controller of it. So everyone leave the other one if they can.
Yeah.
Share this tab instead. Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties off the top here, but we'll get this thing started as soon as possible. Are you able to join?
I got a fucking blank screen.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna refresh it.
Yeah, log out, log back in. There's still 2 spots available at the moment. Should be okay.
Hope so. Gonna tweak. Okay.
There you go. And if you want to pick the 101, you can go ahead and
do it.
Oh,
we here. Oh, there's no way that other draft.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the Toronto Blue Jays, who are now 1 win away. Tomorrow night, hopefully, is when it happens, because Maria and I are having a date night in Toronto. And I am unable to watch the game if it's game 7, which would suck.
No.
I know. And B, Toronto will be packed with people and will be busy as hell to travel around in Toronto if the game is on. So hopefully the Blue Jays win on Friday night.
I have
a Halloween party with all my friends anyway, so it'd be nice to just have that game, watch it, sweat it out, and then have it go. Okay, we are good to go. Let's get this draft started here.
Wait, it's tomorrow night, right?
It's tomorrow night, yeah. So the draft is underway. For anybody rewatching this, I'll have time stamped this so that you guys can just start the draft. I might even cut out the first 15 minutes of this just on the rewatch for people so that they can skip right to the draft here. All right, we are into the draft. It is a Dynasty Superflex mock draft here. You guys maybe have not used the mock draft simulator on our site, but we should have everything in place here. And of course, you can see your team roster. This is a 2 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 2 flex, 1 tight end, and then we have a bunch of bench.
What? It auto picked me.
Okay, I can't do anything about that, brother. You got to actually make your picks.
It said 7 seconds on my screen. I was gonna fucking run it down and pick it at 1 second left.
Okay, well, I mean, you tried to get cute with it. What do you want?
Bro, why is it auto pick with 7 left?
I don't know, dude. That's a question for
the
den.
My God, I'm gonna have to fucking at Joe. That just tilted me. I was going to run it down. I was going to last second take Drake May, which, by the way, Drake May is my 101, guys. What the fuck? That just pissed me off. Pissed me off.
But yeah, in spirit, Danny has Drake May on his roster. I know he's going to be fucking tilted for the rest of this fake draft.
You said chill. It's fine. I'm fine. It's okay. That was annoying though, because like it said 7 seconds left on my screen. So I was going to run it down to 2 and then take him.
Anyways, yeah, this is an interesting change of events so far in the ADP. You see JSN go at the 105, which of course is a major upgrade in terms of price for him. He was going, I don't know what, early third round, 2-3 turn in startups before the offseason. And now he has jumped himself all the way up into that top tier of receiver with Jamar Chase, with Puka Nacua. Who is your wide receiver 1 in Dynasty right now, by the way?
It's got to be Puka, dude. He's in the midst of a generational season.
Yeah, he's also my wide receiver 1 in Dynasty at the moment as well.
Yeah, him, Lamb, and Chase are my top 3. Yeah. Sorry,
I am going to go to my Dynasty rankings and see who my highest ranked player is. I believe, it is one Bijanathan Robinson. So I'm rolling with Bijan with my 109 selection. I had Bijan ranked 109 coming into the season, so I actually haven't changed where I have him ranked overall. It's just that he's shifted. A couple players have shifted here and there around him. Like Puka was not above him before the season. He is now. Jamar Chase was above him the whole time. Drake May was not above him the whole time. Now he is for me. But yeah, that Mahomes at 108. Is that where you're at with Mahomes, or is he more of a 1-2 guy for you?
Let me see exactly where I have him ranked. I definitely have like CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Hurts and stuff over him, but
like what about St. Brown, Gibbs, Jefferson, those type of guys?
I have Mahomes at 9, so I don't think 108's outrageous. I do have Mahomes ahead of Jefferson, JSN, Bijan, and Gibbs. He's like in the middle of the area.
Okay, so I have him at 112. I do have Bijan, Jefferson, Gibbs, Lamb ahead of him. And it's mainly just because he does cap your flexibility. He is a 30-year-old quarterback. Yeah. So the second you draft him, you kind of are at least in a window where you would need to compete within 1 to 2 years. Like, I'm not saying you're like pigeonholed into a contender. If you draft Mahomes, he's going to be great for another 8 to 10 seasons. But like, you probably don't want to be in a full status teardown. And I like to have all my options on the table at the beginning of a startup. And a full status teardown, especially if the room is very redraft centric, can be the most profitable strategy for a lot of casual leagues. So taking a guy like Mahomes is not as flexible for me as taking, let's say, Emeka Egbuka, who just went off the board, or Malik Neighbors, or Jane Daniels, or Drake May, younger quarterback options.
Yeah. It's close for me, honestly. Like for me, I have 4 through 13 as like a big cluster of a tier. Puka, Daniels, Hurts, Lamb, Chase, Mahomes, Jefferson, JSN, Bijan, Gibbs. They all kind of blend together for me. Then the next area I kind of have as the, I would say the rest of the second round: Amon-Ra, Herbert, Brock Bowers, Joe Burrow, Emeka, Rashee Rice, Malik Neighbors, Ashton Genty, Caleb Williams.
Yeah, and I just took St. Brown because he is within that tier of players for me. At the end of the first round, the Lamb, the Gibbs, the Bijan, the Jefferson, the Mahomes type of territory. I do have him a smidge ahead of Ashton Genty, who would have been my selection if St. Brown was off the board. But I took Bijan in the first, so that's why I went with the running back. For ease sake, let's say it's a 4-point per passing touchdown. I did not specify that. I would say we'll just say that's default. It's that. Yeah. And for ease sake, we'll also say it's a half tight end premium as well.
Yeah, makes sense. Sorry, I'm going to lower this.
Not used to the site. Had to bring it up on my iPad. Yeah, facts.
There we go.
Daniels being disrespected now. SMH. Where do you have Jaden Daniels ranked? Just out of curiosity.
104.
Okay. He is my 105. I have Jamar at 103, who is my, I think I said I moved Drake May ahead of Jamar. I meant I moved him ahead of Daniels. I moved ahead of Daniels is what I meant to say.
I thought you said you had Puka wide receiver 1.
Sorry, what the fuck am I talking? Oh, I'm literally looking at the wrong fucking rankings. Okay, that's why. I'm like, why do I have Jamar Chase wide receiver 1 here? Okay.
Oh, I was confused.
It was this week's rankings that I was looking at. Puka Nacua, yes. Puka Nacua is my 103. Drake May is my 104. Jane Daniels my 105. That is how my rankings are set up currently.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense.
But yeah. Anything else that we should discuss here? I mean, Rashee being 205, we think that's reasonable.
That's
very climb for him. Obviously, the suspension risk is now out of the frame. You probably don't have much injury risk anymore now that he's playing.
Yeah, dude, this happened to me, Ethan. This happened to me with frickin' Lamar too, which makes me want to just pick right away. So I'm not going to waste anybody's time here. I'm going to take my next rated quarterback, Justin Herbert, and then I'm going to take my next rated receiver here. You ready for it, Corey? You ready?
All right.
You ready?
Travis Hunter. We all knew that was coming. I mean, so here's the thing. Danny is obviously very high on Travis Hunter. Things are starting to really turn for Travis Hunter in terms of dynasty value. Like, I think 3 weeks ago, Travis Hunter was probably top 24 wide receiver in dynasty, I would say, in terms of price tag, like top 20 or so on the open market. I think
we had questions of late first rounder in 2026 or Travis Hunter. Like, that
people were buying him for 2s and 3s, man. Like, there was people that, like, if you weren't high on Hunter to begin with and then you drafted him and you were like, fuck, why did I do that? I knew he was going to play corner and all this bullshit. Then people were probably willing to sell low on him. So I think Travis being my view of Travis is this: wherever Rome goes, wherever London, Rice, McMillan, McConkey, and Harrison go, Hunter should at least be at the very end of that tier, if not somewhere mixed in with those guys.
Yeah, I know. I think that's the reasonable take to have, because I do think the upside, of course, is he could eventually vault into that early second round. Like, if he is the wide receiver 1 back end of the year and he averages, let's say, 16 and a half, 17 PPR points per game as a second overall pick, 22-year-old player, like, what's his ceiling in terms of where he's valued in dynasty? Because we see, for example, Emeka Egbuka goes wide receiver 7 off the board. What if Hunter's within, 1.5, 2 points per game of Egbuka down the stretch?
Yeah, no, that's within the range of outcomes for him. I'm just seeing who my highest ranked player is. I do believe it is Trey McBride. But I do hate tight ends, but I'll take the value on McBride here at 309. I'm not usually one to take a tight end early, but I think given that McBride is the tight end 1 in fantasy, rest of season, and of course, given his age and all that kind of stuff, It's kind of surprising to me that he would lose value considering he was like a 2-3 turn pick before the season. I think at the very least, he should probably be intermingled kind of in that range with those other guys. But I mean, maybe people are worried long-term. What does the quarterback situation look like in Arizona? That kind of thing. I think it's like a 50-50 coin flip that Kyler Murray is no longer the quarterback there. So we'll see what happens the rest of the year. And we all know that like he'll be like the Raiders quarterback or something. Like, can't you just see Kyler Murray on the Raiders? Like, I don't know why it just strikes me as that's what would happen.
That's totally a Raiders fit. Just like
Brady being his input there, I don't know if he's necessarily the biggest Kyler fan because he's like an old school quarterback. So I'm sure he would more like a pocket passing type of guy.
Hear me out, Miami.
Oh, that would be weird.
Imagine some type of Kyler Tua swap.
Yeah, that would be strange.
That would be funny.
That would be really strange.
Interesting comment here from Jordan. What do you guys think of Domain's take on moving off of elite quarterbacks for proven vets like Baker, Dak, et cetera, and getting pieces for flex or high? I mean, it really just I'm always just a value hound. Like, if the value evens out, I'm not against that type of move. Like, if somebody's offering me Dak and an appropriate amount of plus to be able to move off of Josh Allen, like, I don't think in principle it's a bad idea because theoretically, if let's just say a Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, you're getting 25, 26 points per game. Dak gives you 20 points per game this year. If somebody's offering like CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott for Lamar Jackson, then at that point you have a real conversation.
Yeah. I just got auto-picked Judkins at fucking 10 seconds as well.
Good pick though.
I mean, I was gonna probably take either him or Jordan Love. Because that's how my it's actually not sorted by my rankings. I should sort it by my rankings here. Jordan Love was my highest rated quarterback at the time. So that's and I technically Harrison was my highest rated player, but I just took McBride in the round before, so I probably wouldn't take Harrison over Judkins. But yeah, make sure if you guys are in this draft, maybe just set your cues before your pick, just in case there's some kind of issue where auto picks are happening before the clock is up. I don't know why that's happening, but for some reason it is. I did message the domain or not the domain guys, the devs saying that was an issue that was happening.
That sounds good. Also, good pick on Pickens too. Pickens definitely one of the big risers. It does look like, even though there's reports now, the Cowboys and Pickens are not talking about extension. Yeah, like it was always pretty much a foregone conclusion that they would play out the season, and whatever ended up materializing, then they would go to the negotiation table. So I don't know why that's news that's circulating in the media. They literally said that when they traded for him, that they wouldn't talk about an extension until after the year. But I think at this point, you pretty much locked in a 30 to 35 million per year contract if you're Pickens. Like, he's on pace for 1,300 yards and fucking 12 plus touchdowns.
Yeah, this is by the way, this is so off topic, but I just thought of this. This is a genius idea that Joe has in the private chat of the league. Yeah, if you want to go look, I don't want to spoil it, but I think it's a really good idea. He said it's basically an idea for next year's season pass, potentially. Okay.
Here, let me get a little gritty here, by the way, because I do have 2 wide receivers I like, 2 quarterbacks I like. Let's talk about another big riser in Dynasty and a guy that I think in a tight end premium league is appropriate for this spot here. I will grab Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, I don't think you would have maybe had to take him quite that high. I probably would have tried to push it to the next pick, but
he wasn't making it to the next pick, I can guarantee you.
Yeah, and on Jordan's question here, I think my opinion of this would be if you're going to get Baker plus Devon Achane for, let's say, Justin Herbert, I'm fine with making moves like that, but it's got to be a hammer flex wide receiver or running back that I'm getting. I cannot be doing this for like Devontae Adams and Dak Prescott or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be somebody who holds value, is an elite producer, and a true top 3 to 4 startup pick at least.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, let's just say you had an Allen, a May, a Lamar Jackson, a Daniels. It's like, if you can get another, late first, maybe even up to a mid-second skill player.
Yeah, someone offers me Gibbs and Dak Prescott for Josh Allen, I would consider it. I would probably want more, but I would definitely consider it depending on my team state.
Yeah, like let's say somebody offered you the Lamb Prescott stack and the rest of your team is a win now contender, and you needed maybe wide receiver help.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I would try and see if I can nickel and dime them a little bit, see if they'd throw in a 2, see if they'd throw in even like a Devontae Adams type asset that would be a short-term rental for me.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. That's how the elite quarterback should be approached because, I mean, I'm telling you right now, you know how many tanking teams I have that are literally scoring more points than they should just because I have 2 elite quarterbacks giving me 60 a week in some leagues? Like, it's funny because I'll have leagues where I'm starting Ray Davis and Jalen Wright at my running backs. DeMario Douglas is one of my starting wide receivers. And I have like a 3-5 record because I have 2 elite quarterbacks booing me weeks.
Yeah. I'm going to take CJ just because I think it's a good conversation to have. What do we think of Stroud reasonably? Like what from a dynasty perspective? Because I think this is what my opinion of him is. I think he's a really good asset to acquire in a rebuild because I think the largest problem in Houston right now is that you have a bunch of young receivers. Nico's not really playing at his highest level, and the offensive line hasn't gelled, doesn't have chemistry. And I think this might be the worst season of the next 4 to 5 for CJ Stroud production wise. So I think he's actually a really good 1-year punt asset.
Yeah, because I mean, I do agree with that as well. It's a young quarterback. Even if he only becomes Jared Goff in his career, Jared Goff literally went the pick after, and you're getting eight years of age difference there.
Yeah.
32 versus 24 is what CJ Stroud is.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of buzz on Noel right now. Higgins been decent. I
like their core long term.
Yeah, their core long term is good. They just need an offensive line. King Drewski's he just needs an offensive line. I agree with you. Are you drafting CJ Stroud thinking he's going to be an elite franchise quarterback for your dynasty roster? Probably not. You'd probably prefer him to have him as your QB2 as opposed to your QB1. But I feel pretty decent about him, relatively speaking. I'm gonna grab Xavier Worthy, I think, here, maybe, or do I want to bite the bullet on Christian? No, let's grab Xavier Worthy. I'll roll with another young asset here.
I would be real quick, and I will unshare the screen in a second, but I just want to prove to you guys just how crazy having 2 elite quarterbacks can be. You guys will look through this roster: Hurts, Wright, Davis, Coker, Douglas, Bond, Mason Taylor, Dulcich, Taysom Hill, Loveland, Igbuka. We see the bench pretty much empty. I do actually have Puka Nacua as well, but if Puka Nacua missed a couple of weeks as well, keep that in mind. I'm 3-5 with this team, Corey. And Hampton has been gone for 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Just having Hurts and Daniels has buoyed so many weeks. And also I do have to set my lineup. But yeah. Goes to show you, man, even when you want to tank, having those guys, they're monsters. They're monsters.
Yeah, well, in Comedy of Errors, I came into this season with a house money type of situation. But I have Bo Nix and Drake May, and Trevor Lawrence is my third quarterback. And Bo Nix and Drake May have basically made me a contender this year. Because, it helps that, I drafted some rookies that are obviously producing at a high level right away, like Emeka Egbuka, for example. But you can turn things around quickly if you have quarterbacks to build around, which is why that, especially in the old days of us doing dynasty decisions teams, it was get your foundational quarterbacks as the first part of your rebuild, usually. And then fill out your wide receiver core, maybe get an elite tight end if you can, or a franchise caliber tight end, or some upside swings that could turn into a tight end. For example, this offseason, if you didn't have an elite tight end, but you swung on Jake Ferguson late in the draft and Harold Fannin late in the draft, and then you also drafted Aronde Gadsden in the 4th round of your rookie draft, well, now you have elite tight ends. You know what I mean? So we would build out that foundation around the quarterbacks and then plop your running backs in as the last thing that you would add to your team.
And this is actually a good conversation to have. He actually goes tight end 6 off the board, and I have him as my tight end 6 in Dynasty. I do think, and an elite big talent like that, we said the ceiling was exactly what he's been these last few weeks. And I understand maybe pessimism from you, okay, well, he's
my tight end 6 also.
Happens, but okay, so you're up to par here. But
it's just that I have him over Ferguson, who I have I have Ferguson higher in redraft, but I have Gadsden higher in Dynasty.
Got you. I do think that's an appropriate range. 5th round, 6th round is probably where you should be going, to be honest. I do have to say that about Daniel Jones too. I do think quarterback 19 is actually exactly where I have him ranked in Dynasty. I might actually have him a quarterback 18. Let me take a look.
Yeah, I feel good about Daniel Jones being literally the guy that I told. I screamed from the mountaintops, buy him ASAP, throw him at the back end of deals, throw him in as I send mid to late 2nd round picks for Daniel Jones this offseason. And I feel very, very good about it because at the very least, he's worth a late 1st right now, at the very least.
Yeah. And Corey, it does feel fun knowing that, don't get me wrong. We'll acknowledge it. We'll have some takes. We'll go out on a limb and it doesn't materialize. We'll say that off the bat. We're not going to just completely gluck ourselves on stream, but when we are right, we are fucking right because we're willing to put the balls on the table. We're willing to say a take and have conviction on it. Straight up, there's a lot of people that want to hedge, that want to say, oh, maybe this. No. If you have conviction that something's going to happen, fucking speak your truth. That's my advice.
Yeah, I grabbed Mike Penix here again. In hindsight, this is why you do mock drafts, realistically, right? Because if we were doing a sleeper mock draft, I think both of our teams would look better than they currently do right now.
Oh yeah.
But this is why you do mock draft on our platform here, is because you're basically drafting against all of you guys in this draft. And even if you were drafting by yourself in the simulator, you'd be drafting against my rankings, Danny's rankings, Domain's rankings, and Land's rankings. So you would be drafting pretty sharp teams. And then also Mason's rankings, whatever those are. But yeah, this Penix CJ Stroud combination, would I ideally want to start a dynasty startup with this? Probably not. I think I would probably, if I had to, I mean, I would have taken Jordan Love where I took Judkins probably because I got auto picked. But yeah, that's how I would probably adjust my strategy. I do think like middle rounds, like rounds 5 through 8 is probably like double tapping QB is probably optimal given the current landscape of quarterback dynasty rankings right now.
I will say this is a very competitive mock draft board. Like if you guys look at your teams and don't like your teams, that usually means that you're in a competitive room and you're getting the best practice.
You're getting the best practice indeed.
The best practice.
I feel like I almost kind of want to take Bryce here just because he would complete
Ethan,
my third quarterback here.
Ethan, I fucking hate you.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna grab Bryce. I think when you have a weaker quarterback core, you kind of want a better third quarterback. So I mean, maybe this again is not a position you want to find yourself in with Michael Penix, Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud. But if Michael Penix and Bryce Young are able to continue to develop and to continue to play well, I do think that both of them can be very fantasy relevant quarterbacks. It's again probably not ideal having both of them because I do think they're both quite risky. But I'm kind of fine with it in the context of this team, given that I'm pretty strong at running back and wide receiver, or running back specifically. I need to definitely add some wide receivers here in the next coming rounds.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't want to be that guy to point out something on the board. I will say the one that is glaring right now is George Kittle.
Yeah,
8th round George Kittle feels pretty nice if you're a contending team. Obviously, I have a tight end, so I'm not trying to influence, but yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this let's talk about Daniel Jones a little bit more because he's obviously a major riser from the offseason. I'll just give you a little bit of like this or that. Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray, who you want?
I have Daniel Jones one spot higher.
Daniel Jones, Jared Goff, who you want?
I have Daniel Jones higher.
Daniel Jones, Jackson Dart, who do you want?
I gotta go Jackson Dart there, the first round pedigree, ascending offense. I have Jackson Dart actually in the tier with like Prescott, Purdy, Lawrence, Mayfield, and Stroud.
Okay. So Daniel Jones is what, the top of the next tier for you, behind the likes of the Stroud, Purdy, Dak Prescott, Mayfield territory?
Ahead of Cam Ward, Bryce Young, Michael Penix, Jared Goff, Tua Tagovailoa, like he's the head of that tier.
You're on the clock, by the way. Sorry, I'm distracting you.
All good. I got Trey Benson. I was going to go with Henry with the other pick, so that was a nice little stipe there from Scribbles. What to do? Tricky situation. Honestly, I'm going to go Jaylen Warren. I do think when Trey Benson comes back in this scenario, I also think Jaylen Warren, efficient running back like he's shown this year. I don't feel great about it, but I also don't really like the board as a whole.
Yeah. There's like, I mean, like you said, when you're in a sharper room, you're going to see the board dry up a little quicker than you would want to. But
Henry was a great pick.
But like this is, again, we talked about this in the redraft cycle as well. Like if you guys did mock drafts on here for the redraft, for your redraft leagues, your home redraft leagues, you probably walked away with some very good teams in your actual home redraft leagues because players were going quite high in the expert rankings and whatnot. How are we feeling about Dowdle? From a dynasty perspective, I probably wouldn't feel too excited about him. Like I think you'd feel good that like where did Dowdle go in startups this offseason? Like the 16th round or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, he was what a 15th, 16th rounder in redraft league, so probably around that range, if not a little bit later in dynasty, because we'll have like young ascending wide receivers kind of get pushed up the envelope there.
Yeah, I mean, like ultimately, if you hit on a Rico Dowdle, you're probably just kind of going to use him as a contender. That's like how I feel about him. It's like, are you going to get a huge trade package involving Rico Dowdle on the open market? No. If you sell him, it's probably a part of a different deal that you threw him into. But do you feel good that you click the draft button on him at the 17-9 or something like that? Yeah, you probably do because he's paid off his value.
Well, yeah, it's just like a free liquidation piece. Like realistically, if you offered a contender for their late first, Cortland Sutton plus Rico Dowdle for their first, like I think that's going to be able to get it done in a lot of leagues at this point. Because if you're a contender and you're thinking, oh, I can buy into maybe 14-point per game equity with wide receiver Rico Dowdle, if he is the starter going forward, can it be a mid to back end RB2? That's probably the expectation. I don't think he's going to repeat as a high end RB1 like he was, but I would say the expectation for Dowdle, honestly, if he does get, let's just say 50% of the work, 60% of the work, 70% of the work. If you got 50% of the work, I'd probably say about a top 25-ish level running back this year. 60% of the work, probably in that closer to the RB20, RB19 range. If he gets 70% of the snaps moving forward, though, I think we have to have a serious top 15 level conversation.
Yeah, I'm still going to wait and see on Dowdle. I have, this is the first week in which I have Dowdle ranked over Hubbard in my weekly rankings. Every week that Hubbard's been on the field, I've had him ranked higher because he has outsnapped Dowdle, but we did hear some pretty jarring comments from Dave Canales that won't be the case going forward, most likely. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. I'm kind of still remaining somewhat cautious with Dowdle. I'm going to grab, who do I want here? I think, again, because it's a mid-season startup, I would imagine that there would be like a half pot. Like if you guys have ever done a mid-season startup before, it's usually there's like a half pot at the end of the season. And then the full pot would be the following season. So knowing that this is like a mid-season startup and we're valuing these guys for like what the production that they're going to give, that's why I went with Tyrone Tracy at the 1004, because he's obviously going to be the starting running back for the Giants for the rest of the season. So I feel like given that production value, you probably feel good about him in the 10th round. And he's obviously still very young, and we don't know what Scadaboo's recovery timeline is going to look like yet.
Yeah. No, honestly, I would venture a guess that it's actually a late recovery, because we do have news that when he was getting his surgery, apparently he also had like a broken fibula involved there. And if you guys recall, broken fibula, I mean, 2024 Isaiah Pacheco, 2023 Tony Pollard rings in my ears when I hear that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it definitely does.
And as we know with Tony Pollard, by the way, a back that actually had juice. Keep this in mind. 2022 Tony Pollard, one of the most efficient running backs in the league.
4.3 speed Isaiah Pacheco.
They both suffered those broken fibulas and look like they're running in dirt.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. It's not great.
Like, realistically, Scadaboo might look like a 4.8, 4.9 guy the first time he comes back on the field. We just have to acknowledge that possibility.
Yeah, which would be like we said when he went down. It's like this guy was guaranteed nothing in this league. Like he was a day 3 running back, and even though people liked him and that kind of thing, like he's guaranteed nothing. I think his career could go the route of, like, let's say, I think of another guy who was a day 3 rookie or day 3 running back who found some value with his team, but never was an exciting player because he doesn't have juice. And what if Cam Scadaboo's career goes the route of a Jamal Williams type, where he's part of committees for the rest of his career because, you know, that injury took away some of his juice or whatever? That would be unfortunate, because we're talking about a guy that legitimately, like, where was Cam Scadaboo in Dynasty running back rankings the week before that injury? Like, we're talking about a guy that was legit a top 15 Dynasty running back, and maybe by the end of the season would have been a top 10 Dynasty running back. Yeah,
I agree with you there. Also, I don't know if Mike Evans is going to retire or not, so I took Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I think that the outcome of this playoffs for the Buccaneers would determine a lot for Mike Evans, and his ability to come back from said injury and play in the playoffs would also determine a lot for Mike Evans as well. If I was Mike Evans, I would look at this team and be like, hey, let's say we lose in the divisional round this year or something like that. I would have a hard time walking away from a team that add more draft picks, go out, maybe add a pass rusher or trade for a pass rusher in the offseason or something. I would have a hard time knowing that I maybe left another opportunity for a Super Bowl ring on the table if I was Mike. But Mike keeps saying that, like, he'll know when he's done, kind of thing. And it sounds like, just in my opinion, of someone who's listened to Mike Evans interviews for 10 plus years, it sounds like he is thinking that this might be his last year, in my opinion. I have no sources. Nobody's confirmed that. It's just my feel on the situation from what I've heard from my favorite player in franchise history.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but I mean, like, he might also feel now that you guys hit on Igbuka, Jalen McMillan's going to be healthy next year. Godwin's going to be another year removed from the injury. At least Evans probably mentally is thinking, okay, if I retire, at least they're still going to be left in a good spot at wide receiver. Because, as you know, like, a very selfless guy, like,
he would care about that. He would legitimately care about that.
Like if he thought, oh, if I retire, I would be completely fucking over this receiving corps, he wouldn't make that decision.
Yeah, I think that's something that he would definitely factor in.
Quinn
TJ
Johnson
Hawkinson's really hard to figure out, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. Quentin Johnson's also another guy hard to figure out. At one point, we were saying, okay, maybe is he worth a late first rounder? Is this real? And now it's like Aronde Gadsden's legitimately been the needle in his thorn, or the thorn in his
Needle in
side.
his side or thorn in his
Needle
side.
in his,
Yeah.
yeah, you know.
Where's Quentin Johnson among dynasty wide receiver rankings for you?
Wide receiver 34 is where I have him.
That's exactly where he's ranked for me.
Between Cortland Sutton and Devontae Adams.
I have Devontae Adams once. So I have Cortland Sutton at 33 and Devontae Adams at 36. So the only difference is that my pet child here, Brandon Ayuk, is at 35. That would be the only difference.
I have Ayuk at 41, but I see the vision. The moment he steps back on the field, I'll probably move him a little bit higher. I just have like Debo, Adams, like.
Yeah, Debo and Adams are the two players immediately after him in my rankings. So
I'm moving Brandon Ayuk to 37. There's no way I'm taking 8 point per game Jameson Williams over him.
Yeah, I mean, in Dynasty, I have Jameson Williams at 30 just because he's 24 years old with a big contract tethered to the Detroit Lions offense. I know he's been bad this year, but we have evidence to say that Jameson Williams at least a good player on a good team.
Yeah.
And like, I can't take Devontae Adams or Brandon Ayuk or any of these older receivers over a guy that I think has a 4 to 5 year fantasy relevant shelf life. I know he's not been fantasy relevant this year, but I think that won't keep up forever.
He's going to be fantasy relevant on your guys' benches for a good amount of time.
Absolutely. Yes. At this point, I will pull the trigger on TJ Hawkinson, or I'll just get auto pick Jawan Jennings at 15 seconds, apparently. Okay. 15 seconds. I got auto picked there. What?
Dude, I got auto picked at 9 at the 101. I was tweaking.
Okay, Devs, you got to figure this out. Joe, if you're listening to this, why the hell am I getting auto picked at 15 seconds or whatever that was?
Dude, you're taking too long. Come on.
Anyone else hate their mock team too? Yeah, dude, I hate the mock team as well. I think one thing we should do, Danny, is after this mock is over, we should examine the ADP and like just talk about round by round, like kind of who sticks out as what value and that kind of thing. Because this is the first mock we've done since the season has begun. We should definitely talk about who's on the rise and if it's noteworthy or not.
Yo, talk to him, pushy bushy.
Why? Because I said this is the first mock we've done since the season begun.
Yo, he's cooking for real. Is Maria wearing off on you or something, eh?
No, she does. Good poetry doesn't rhyme, as I've learned.
Oh shit!
I thought poetry was supposed to rhyme also.
Isn't that the whole point? You're supposed to make like
children's poetry rhymes apparently. But like literary poets don't rhyme their poetry.
The poetry I read is the rhyming type.
Yeah, like Cat in the Hat shit.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, no, Maria's doing her Masters of Fine Arts in poetry right now, and as I've learned, because I've gone to a poetry reading from some of her professors and stuff, I'm just really stupid relative to these people. That's what I've learned. Like it takes me 7 times that they read their poem. I'm like, I don't get it.
I understand that this guy. I don't know what's going on. Where do you value Justin Fields?
You probably got to take him at this point, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'll take Aaron Jones first, and then I will go.
So you got autoed Aaron Jones for sure.
No, I mean RB40 feels reasonable. He's probably going to have a starting role for the rest of the season, and then we'll kind of reevaluate. But I just think 12-12 is probably the appropriate range for like a veteran running back that can maybe get to 13 points, 14 points per game.
Yeah, I mean, this is the territory of a real draft where you and I would be selling picks or picks, draft picks for draft picks, basically, like rookie picks.
Picking a 3 for a 2, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I'm kind of itching to do a startup. I don't want to ever do a midseason one again. Never. I didn't like that. I've done it once and I didn't like it at all.
They're pretty bowed.
But like come January, like I'm going to be probably excited to do another startup for sure.
Yeah, I'd be keen.
But like part of me is like, I should really cut down on some leagues, but then part of me is like, but why? Like my portfolio across the board is like, if I cut down on some leagues, like I'm just leaving money on the table.
That's what I mean, bro.
Like any teams that I look at and I go, that team is a lost cause. I should get rid of it. Not to mention too, a lot of our leagues are with listeners and we can't cut off leagues with people like listeners. And not to mention the other leagues that I'm in, like the 4 or 5 that are not listener leagues, I'm like the top 2 or 3 seed in 4 out of the 5. And the other one is a league where I'm like a playoff team.
Well, Corey, that's the funny thing about like that aspect. It's like, oh shit, I'm in so many dynasty leagues. I'm in too many dynasty leagues. But if I'm making money on dynasty because my portfolio is that good, why would I trim back? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess part of it is like, hey, I could be more successful percentage of leagues that I win
I got like
by
6 or
focusing more on them and having time to go through and comb through trade opportunities in each league. And that, because like you and I, with the amount of leagues that we're in now, when I was in 3 leagues, like on a weekly basis during the season, I would like comb through buy lows in my leagues and that kind of thing and like monitor who had what record and what players they would have on their team. Now it's like I need to make a conscious effort to sit down on like a monthly basis and go through, okay, this team is, my flocked up team, for example, is loaded at running back, a little bit weaker at wide receiver and tight end. Who can I go trade for wide receivers and tight ends with? Like I have to like consciously make that decision now. Before it was just like I would know where my league mates were at because I was in not enough leagues.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. Also, are we doing another one after this?
I was hoping that people would be able to go back and rewatch this one.
We could do a little Q&A or something. Do we have any site questions?
I mean, I figured we would just save those for tomorrow's stream before the game.
Right. Yeah, there's probably not going to be any dynasty focused ones.
I mean, if we have any dynasty team reviews, I suppose we could do some dynasty team reviews.
Yeah, I mean, we could take a look. If we have anything dynasty related, I'll pull it up on my other tab right now.
Yeah, I would say just reviews probably. Actually, if we have any like dynasty trade questions, I suppose we could talk about them. But yeah, I just figured we're going to be live tomorrow, so we could just cover that stuff. This stream is in place of our regularly scheduled Thursday video, so it's like my thought is like we should treat it like a video. It's like a dynasty startup mock video.
Yeah, that's a good point. This one's a redraft team
I'm actually dumb as shit. Sorry, it is Thursday today. We'll be live later today to answer those questions, is what I meant to say.
We do have a dynasty one from C. Lynott. I do see that 8-0 team looking to make a move, so we can help him out there.
Yeah, we'll rip the dynasty team review if we got a dynasty team review for sure.
We got 2 dynasty team reviews in here, so we at least got 2 there. Bunch of trade questions. Bunch of start sits, bunch of trade questions, but the rest.
Yeah, we'll cover the dynasty team reviews after this mock is over and after we analyze the board a little bit. But then anything redraft related, we'll cover 5:30, 6 o'clock Eastern tonight. Whenever we go live before Thursday night football here.
Yep, and I'm about to be back on the clock, and I'm just gonna say it now. I don't think Tyreek Hill is draftable with the current news we have on his injury.
No. I think that some other options here, like a Jalen Milroe or Dylan Sampson, would be worth taking a swing on.
Yeah, because I need wide receiver depth, actually. I just mentioned that I kind of made the bank not taking Evans that he might retire. I'll take a Jalen McMillan share. Maybe he's healthy next year, has an opportunity to run in 3 wide receiver sets. And as we know, he was productive last year when he had the opportunity.
Yeah, let me just make sure. Is this going to just take me to the? Okay, yeah, I can go to the board and stuff. Okay, perfect. I mean the analyzer likes your team the most. So based on how you drafted your team here, you could see this is the nice thing also about doing a mock on here versus on Sleepers, that you get a roster review essentially at the end of the mock draft that you do. But yeah, you went really young with some wide receivers, and then you kind of took some veterans that are producing. I don't know. What is your strategy in this mock here?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I look at it, I think I got the advantage at quarterback, at least for this year. I mean, Justin Fields probably going to be a top 15 quarterback if he plays. Honestly, even a top 10, top 12 quarterback, the games that he does play. Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, I feel very good in a seasonal projection. And of course, a long-term building around 2 elite studs like that. A running back here, I kind of grab my upside hero with Trey Benson. I understand in the short term, he's probably going to miss these next couple of weeks, but I do think the minute that he comes back, the status of the James Conner injury, how efficient he was looking prior to his own injury, we could even potentially be looking at a top 12 to 15 dynasty running back within a couple of weeks. So in the context of the mock, I do think I got him at value like that. And I do think I have enough production to be able to get me by in the short term. If this was a season, Jalen Warren, David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, I think would be able to supplement my running back production, especially knowing I have an advantage at Tucker Kraft at tight end premium league, a guy that's already averaging 16 points per game in a non-premium. You're looking at a legitimate 19, 20 point per game score. And then at wide receiver, very, very optimistic on Hunter rest of the season. Love the projection of Zay Flowers. Do stack him up with Lamar Jackson. DK Metcalf, top 25 to 30 wide receiver. Michael Pittman, honestly, a top 20 wide receiver for me rest of the season. So I think I got good value on him. And just rounding out the core there with Stephon Diggs and the upside case of Jalen McMillan.
Yeah. And I started out with kind of like a win now type of approach where I go Bijan, Judkins, Amon-Ra St. Brown like early on. Again, I fell behind a little bit at quarterback. If in hindsight, I would have gone back and not gotten auto-picked at 9 seconds, I would have taken Jordan Love instead of Quinshon Judkins, and then I could have filled up my running back core a little bit differently. But again, knowing that this is kind of a like rest of season for the first, like if this was a real startup, it would be a rest of season portion of it. Tyrone Tracy, Ramondre Stevenson, very undervalued dynasty assets relative to what they would give you rest of season. And then Godwin, I do think would be a good, kind of upside swing. Juwan Jennings playing through an injury. Romeo Dobbs pretty undervalued production-wise as well.
Good shout on Dubs, by the way, because when I was doing my overhaul, I realized I'm like, wow, like the site experts are like a little bit too low on Dubs right now. Like, I understand that, okay, we have Christian Watson coming back. Obviously, Matthew Golden's going to be a factor long-term, but we're still looking at a 90+% route share X wide receiver for Jordan Love. Like, he's going to have value. Maybe he's not going to be a 14, 15 point per game scorer, but I do think at least this season he could project into a top 30 wide receiver role. And at the very minimum, moving forward, a wide receiver 3-4 type.
Yeah, no, for sure. One thing I just thought of, Danny, is that we did not hit go live on the streamer mode before we went live on this. So the timestamp would be all screwed up if we did reviews on this stream. Just FYI, I just thought of that.
Well, there's only 2 of them. We could manually link them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we could just do that. Okay. Anything, let's look at round by round and just, does anything stick out? Because I do think it's probably worth noting some of the stuff, the risers and that kind of thing. I think the biggest sticking point for me in the first round is that Jackson Smith and Jigba went 105. Like, to me, that's just a major meteoric rise from where he was going before.
Yeah, a little bit too early for my taste, but you can't deny that a 22 point per game, 24-year-old wide receiver should be probably a first-round pick. Like, if I'm looking at my rankings right now, he definitely is in that top 13 I was mentioning to you. Let's just see exactly how high in that top 13 he is. Let me take a look. Dynasty wide receiver.
He's my 112 in my rankings.
Yeah, here, let me go to Superflex. Oh, I'm on wide receiver. Sorry. He is my 111. So very similar range. Shout out, by the way, I saw Caleb in the stream earlier. He's basically able to get Burden plus Malik Neighbors for me. Burden plus JSN from me when Malik Neighbors got hurt. I thought, okay, JSN's producing right now, but maybe it dials back a little bit. I don't think it's going to dial back. I think what we're looking at is what we're going to get, and we're probably getting an Amon St. Brown 2.0.
Yeah. I mean, JSN, legitimate, like, what, 4 point something yards per out run this season so far?
Insane. Him and Puka Nacua are the top right quadrant. That's the meme.
Yeah, no, exactly. They're just an absolute beast mode combination there, those two guys. Round 2, anything stick out to you there? We talked about kind of Rashee Rice being at the 205 now that he's back healthy. I think Emeka Egbuka, seeing as that he's on the thumbnail, what are your thoughts on him? Where do you have him ranked? He went at 203. Is he ranked around that range for you? Is that a little early? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
A tiny bit early. Like, I understand the rationale, though, Caleb. He is a Buckeyes fan. Egbuka obviously played for the Buckeyes. Egbuka, very, very young wide receiver. Egbuka, when he was healthy, 20 points per game. Like, you can get me there. I do have him, I believe, let me take a look, 18th overall. So I'm at about the 206, so a few spots behind. But I definitely think it's fair to even take him as close to the 202. Like, if somebody wanted to say, hey, I would take him over Malik Neighbors, I think that's a perfectly reasonable shout to have.
Yeah, I have him ranked as my 205 right now. He's my 17th overall player. I do have St. Brown, Neighbors, Justin Herbert, Mahomes, JSN, CeeDee Lamb, those type of guys immediately ranked ahead of him. So I think 203 is probably around the highest I would be able to pull the trigger there, but I'd say more of the mid-second round range is probably what I would feel about him. But obviously, if you guys drafted this guy 107, 108 of your rookie draft, you feel great about him. Third round, obviously, you took Hunter at 301. We already know your stance on that. Anything that sticks out to you here? Do you think, I guess Caleb Williams 307 maybe is something that you would disagree with? I have him as a 2-3 turn pick. Like, he's my 22nd overall player, so he's a little bit higher up for me. I guess my thought process, my number one reason why I would say I'd feel comfortable taking Caleb Williams at the 2-3 turn is that second year in Ben Johnson's system is kind of when I think you're going to see that elite level production. I think what we're seeing right now is a better version of what he was as a rookie. A little bit inconsistent, but the highs are high.
I agree with you. I have Caleb Williams also as my 22nd overall player. He's in a big tier. Like, I do think Amon at 14 all the way down to Caleb Williams at 22. You can pretty much interchange that. If somebody said, hey, I would be willing to take Caleb Williams at the 202, I don't think they'd be outrageous because, like you kind of mentioned, we're looking to the words next year, potentially even being an ascending year with Caleb Williams. He's still a very, very young quarterback, and he's probably going to already be a quarterback 1 in points per game. He's going to be here long term. He's got the trust of Ben Johnson. He's got a very, very good supporting cast. So I understand there's been inconsistencies in his play, which is why he's down at 22 for me in relation to the, top 8, top 10 quarterback or top 8 quarterback asset, sorry, top 8, top 10 overall asset. Like I thought maybe he would be, but the minute he starts playing, even remotely up to par, like he was in those first 4 weeks, I think he would be a meteoric riser. Similar, like if we did this in week 13 and Caleb Williams strung together 3 straight 20+ point weeks, where would he be going? Sorry, in this mock.
I believe he was at one point in the like late September area when he had a couple of good games in a row. He was risen up to like a top 8 startup pick, if I'm not mistaken, on keep trade cut value. So I think we're talking about a guy who is going to be inconsistent, who might fluctuate a little bit over the next
307 is insane value though.
Yeah, 307 is a little low for my taste. I personally do still have Bo Nix ranked ahead of him though, because I do think, given the full sample size of the two guys' careers, I would prefer Bo Nix. But they're literally back to back in my rankings at 21 and 22.
The way I look at it is I have Bo Nix and Caleb Williams close in my overall redraft rankings. They're in the same tier. So I'll just take the younger, more talented player and a potential second year with Ben Johnson over him.
Yeah.
But like, again, I think it's arguable. They're in the same tier. I'm not gonna fight anyone on that. For me personally, though, it's more so like the skill players that I would say went above them. Like you could very well make the case like I'm part of that contribution, but at the same time, like I was never going to start 3 quarterbacks in a row, so I kind of had to go with my next best skill player. I do think, though, in terms of even the back end of the second, early third teams, maybe jump the gun on passing on Caleb. Although to be fair, Burrow fall as quarterback 8 as the 303, so maybe this was just a room that preferred the skill talent.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair as well. In the 4th round, I think the biggest one is Jackson Dart at the 402.
Yeah.
Are we thinking that's a little early for me? Is QB 11 off the board as well, which to me is a little bit early.
Yeah, quarterback 11 is a little bit too rich for my blood. Again, he's my quarterback 14, so I don't think it's outrageous. But for me personally, just the security of even like a Jordan Love there.
Yeah, Love is my quarterback 11, so he would have been if I picked a quarterback in that situation, would have been the quarterback I would pick.
Yeah. Shout out Flat. J Metal, he gone 101. I don't know what Danny was. Man. Yeah, the app auto drafted me for those of you that are new to the stream. Shout out Ethan for trolling.
Yeah. Well, he was in the draft.
Wait,
so he knows.
Shahi got traded to Denver?
Really?
That's an interesting fit. I actually kind of like.
Let me see this. Hold on. Shaheed to Denver. I don't see this news anywhere. Do you see this news? I don't see it.
I don't see this news anywhere. Oh, yo, Tyler, you cannot be saying proclamations like that in the chat.
Oh my God.
How many times does this happen every stream?
Yeah, I don't think Shaheed would get traded to Denver either, because he's kind of just Troy Franklin, but better.
Which like could play.
Sure, but like, wouldn't you want a different archetype of receiver a little bit?
Did Sean Payton and him overlap at all in New Orleans?
They must have. Yeah, I think they probably did.
Yeah.
Even if it was just his rookie year. I mean, for what it's worth, John, Bo Nix was the best deep ball thrower in the league last year. Maybe not so much this year, but last year he was an exceptional deep ball thrower.
Yeah. Wait, is Lamar playing? Yes.
Is Lamar playing? Yeah, Lamar is playing.
Yo, oh, dude, he's tweaking. He
Stop trolling us in the chat here, fellas.
Martin Nikash, 11.5 million per year.
I don't know who that is.
Avalanche winger.
Sure. In the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th round, is there anything that you look at where you go, what about Trevion Henderson? Actually, that would be one guy. I want to bring up Trevion Henderson, the conversation dynasty-wise around him.
I'm buying in at RB14 price tags. He's only 2 spots higher than RJ Harvey, and I just think he was a substantially better prospect.
Okay, I think that's the easy default response to say I'm buying in on the guy that was the great prospect. But
I can't take him over McCaffrey right now.
Worried from where you were, let's say, like not even at the beginning of the season. Obviously, you're more worried now than you were then. But like, let's say 3 to 4 weeks ago.
In terms of his first year outlook, I do think he's pretty much a non-factor first year. I think the thesis now has to be he needs to be a game-changing top 12, top 15 running back in year 2. And I do think talent-wise, he can get up to that level, which is why I'm still willing to buy in the 6th round, because to be honest, it's like, realistically, what are the upside shots? Like he's going in the same round respectfully as Cam Scottaboo after a multi.
Okay, among running backs, sure, but sandwiched between Devontae Smith, Addison, and Xavier Worthy is a kind of an issue for me. I would definitely take those wide receivers ahead of them.
Yeah, Addison and Smith specifically. Worthy. I don't know what to make of Worthy right now, bro. Is he pigeonholed into an 11-point per game role?
I hope not. I mean, he's a 22-year-old receiver. I think he's
Jameson Williams?
Whatever you think of Jameson Williams, you should probably think of Xavier Worthy. Only younger.
I don't think much of him.
I think that Xavier Worthy is the Chiefs' version of Jameson Williams, a little bit better version of him, a little bit younger version of him. So he needs to probably be valued as a top 25 dynasty wide receiver for those reasons.
I'm at 27, and actually, to be honest, I'm going to move him a couple spots down because I would take Addison and probably Metcalf over him at this point. But I don't know, man. It's tricky. Like realistically, I'm not going to say this yet actually, because this guy's not doing anything right now.
This is a good question. Joseph says, do you think it's justified that Woody Marks went at 908 and Trevion Henderson went at 603?
I would say that Woody Marks probably went a little bit cheaper than he should have.
I think you could argue that Woody should have went where ETN went, like in the 806 kind of territory. So I would say it's more, but I do think that Henderson going 603 was a smidge early. I think he maybe should have gone around the early 7th round, give or take.
Yeah, I just think there's not a lot of upside in that range compared to him. Like Christian McCaffrey, first and foremost, should have been above him. Christian McCaffrey going at RB15 actually makes no sense to me because he should be above Saquon Barkley. Why are we valuing Saquon Barkley above Christian McCaffrey? They're the same fucking age, and one's actually being a generational asset in your lineup this year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, especially, a full round apart. Like if you want to take Barkley 1 spot or 2 spots higher in the overall startup ahead of McCaffrey for whatever reason, I think that would be justified, but a full round apart seems a little much.
I honestly just don't really see the case of Barkley over McCaffrey right now. I really don't.
Pacheco's at the 1304, John. I think probably we're doing this the week after he got injured. You know what I mean? The timing of this mock draft versus when, if we had done this last week, he probably goes in the 10th round.
Corey, maybe I'm crazy, but I just don't really see the explanation to have Barkley over him. I don't see it. What are we claiming here?
I guess you could claim that Barkley is 9 months younger and has a little bit more contract stability, I suppose.
I guess, but I mean, I would counteract that with an 8.6 point per game difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference for sure. It's a big difference between the two of them. I don't think I have it ranked that way as well. Like McCaffrey is my RB10 and Barkley is my RB11. So they are back to back in my rankings.
No, full transparency. We were meant to put you under the light. We just, that's a conversation we have to have because obviously it almost felt like a crazy thing to even mention 3 months ago, but this is where it needs to be at.
Yeah. Anything else that stands out to you in the mid rounds here? What about JJ McCarthy going at the 705? You think that's appropriate price tag for him? Because we're going to see what he's made of for these next couple games here.
Quarterback 22 off the board. He's my quarterback 24. So I think that's very reasonable. I guess the only quarterbacks I'd probably say is, I think I'm hedging with Michael Penix a little bit here. That's a close discussion. I think you have to have Penix as he's shown a little bit more in the lineup, but if somebody just wants to say, hey, I don't think JJ McCarthy is an indicative of what we saw in those first 2 weeks, and I'm not willing to write it into my evaluation, I think JJ McCarthy could be as high as 20. But I have him at 24. I'm a Michigan fan. I do have to bake in a little bit of nerve because at the same time, we just simply haven't seen him in a high volume role yet.
Yeah, the 5 quarterbacks that went immediately around him, Darnold 2 spots or 3 spots ahead of him, Penix a couple spots after him, Cam Ward and Bryce Young, I have ranked all over JJ McCarthy. I personally would prefer what I've seen from Bryce Young, what I've seen from Michael Penix, what I think Ward is doing in a horrendous situation right now, and the fact that he was the first pick in the draft. And Darnold's playing at a very high level, even if he's like 29 versus JJ McCarthy's age or whatever. I just think that McCarthy is kind of in, I don't want to call it no man's land because he obviously has some ceiling to his game still, but him and Tua Tagovailoa are the only 2 quarterbacks that I look at right now where I go, holy crap, is there a lot of risk around these starting quality-ish caliber quarterbacks?
But unlike Tua,
guys, it's old quarterbacks or it's guys that don't have starting jobs.
But unlike Tua, if JJ McCarthy hits, he will fucking hit.
Yes.
Obviously, the risk that he doesn't hit.
Production-wise, Tua can hit big, though, as well.
Sure, but I'm talking more so value because JJ McCarthy is still, 2004 born quarterback? Like, he's 21 years old?
No,
Like,
he was born in 03, I think.
03. Okay, so 22-year-old quarterback regardless, though. 22-year-old quarterback, like, if he does play well down the stretch and maybe he upticks his volume, maybe the time off is what he needed. Maybe he came into the season banged up. Like, we don't know the full context of what happened with the ankle, but by all accounts, it does sound like he's fully healthy now. If he does play better and we do see the volume uptick, people are going to say, well, it's a 23-year-old quarterback attached to Kevin O'Connell and to arguably top 3 wide receiver core in the league.
Yeah. I mean,
or duo.
Yeah, this is no man's land quarterback for me.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford, JJ McCarthy, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Fields. That's the tier that I have these quarterbacks in. And they're all like, Stafford's no man's land value-wise because he's 37 years old. But the other 3 guys are no man's land because I don't know what's going to happen with Tua's job security. I don't know what's going to happen with Justin Fields' job security, but I know when he's starting, he's obviously good for fantasy. And I don't know what's going to happen with JJ McCarthy. Is JJ McCarthy the next Anthony Richardson, the next Trey Lance, the next Zach Wilson, one of these highly drafted quarterbacks that just quickly falls out of favor with his team? Like, it doesn't even take long. Like, think about how quickly things turned on Trey Lance, Anthony Richardson, and Zach Wilson. It was not even into their second seasons that the team were already like willing to move off of them.
I don't disagree with those examples, but I will say in the context of McCarthy with the Vikings, it does sound like they've done everything possible to give him a fair shot. And that's what we want to see because they didn't have to roll out Carson Wentz with a torn labrum way after the fact. They're doing that because they want to make sure their first-round quarterback investment is as healthy as he can be when you return to the lineup. They already confirmed it. Carson Wentz, I'm not sure if you saw when he had the season-ending surgery, basically said, like, I probably shouldn't have played these last couple of games, but the team needed me to because they didn't want to trot out JJ McCarthy on a less than ideal ankle.
Yeah,
that was the report.
I think that if you ask Kevin O'Connell with the cameras off kind of thing, like, why did you not play McCarthy yet? I think his answer would be that I don't want this young quarterback losing his confidence. And if he's playing less than 100% and he already played bad to begin with, I'd rather him just take a breather, get to 100% health. And if he's going to lose his confidence, it'll be totally because of his play on the field then, not because he's playing through something. But like, at the same time, I could see why an old head football coach would be like, you got to get out there for your team, kid, and show them you're a leader. And that, like, I understand that argument on JJ as well.
Yeah. And I think that's 100% of the factor. Also, Ethan, I just don't think that's very fair at all. I mean, it's a 2-game sample size. On top of that, the Vikings defense also was playing at a much higher level then than they are now. And I mean, the Falcons defense is no joke, realistically.
I guess, but like, do you think it's fair that Trey Lance only got the amount of starts that he got in the NFL? Sometimes it's just not fair.
No, and I don't disagree, but what I'm saying is we're using all the negative examples. Like, Caleb Williams didn't have a good rookie season. Like, there's so many quarterbacks that haven't had good rookie seasons, and this is basically JJ McCarthy's rookie year. Let's just give him some grace other than a 2-game sample size. That's all I'm arguing.
That's totally fair. But I think with McCarthy, like Lance and Richardson, there was questions about whether they could do it in the first place because Richardson was a 1-year starter, was a project. Lance was a project from a small school. McCarthy was a projection. Even if he played at a big school, he was a projection.
Maybe, but I think those are very harsh criticisms. Like, realistically, the criticism that people have with JJ McCarthy is that he fit into Michigan's system and he didn't throw the ball a ton. And like, fair. If that's a criticism that you had for him, so be it. But you can't really criticize the actual on-field sample he had at Michigan because when he was asked to make those 3rd and long throws to get Michigan, behind the chain type of situations, convert those money downs, there was no better quarterback in college football that year.
Yeah. And I get this argument too. Like, he had a year to sit behind Sam Darnold, so he should theoretically be more further along than your average first-year starter because you got a full year to sit behind a quarterback who played at a top 10 level, top 5 even level at times last year.
And what if the ankle injury was something that maybe he had coming into the season, and that was part of the reason why Kevin O'Connell only dialed up 20 passes a game with him?
Maybe. He also was coming off of a knee injury too, coming into the year. So
I honestly just think, like you said, it's Kevin O'Connell wanting to preserve his confidence and not wanting to trot him out there at less than 100%.
Yeah, like if he hits, it will be a Kevin O'Connell masterclass. I think we can all agree on that. I just think that if you think about it, how many quarterbacks has Kyle Shanahan made look good?
No, exactly.
And I couldn't make Trey Lance look good.
Yeah, no,
that's my point. Like, sometimes even if you're Kevin O'Connell or even if you're Kyle Shanahan, you can't make the quarterback who can't play look good.
Sure, and I would argue that JJ McCarthy is not a quarterback that can't play. Like I do think,
which is a fair argument. I'm just saying, like, based on the information that I have around JJ McCarthy, I would lean towards more on the side that he can't play than he can.
But I would counter that with what was the main issue for both of those quarterbacks, Trey Lance and Anthony Richardson. As good as prospects they were,
lack of experience playing in big games in college, that kind of stuff.
Specifically as a tangible trait for the like what they were, because they had rocket arms. But what was the main criticism?
Accuracy.
And JJ McCarthy had the
highest. It was accuracy.
And JJ McCarthy had the highest completion percentages last year in college, or second highest. Bo Nix was.
I mean, I did watch him miss a lot of throws in the 2 games that he started this year, though.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, if he had an ankle injury, maybe lost confidence, that could have been a factor. Like, I'm just not willing to write off everything that I thought about the player and the prospect off of a 2-game sample size coming off of a major injury as a rookie.
Yeah, and this is obviously in an ideal world, all of us would love a bigger sample size before we can decide if he can play. But my point and my argument here is that, like, let's say for the next 6, 7, 8 games of the season that McCarthy plays, he stinks it up every game. He's bad.
And we can adapt with new
that you sold him now. You know what I mean? Like, that's what my point is on JJ, is like, if we can't decide if this kid can play or not, it's not really relevant, because if we look back a year from now, this was the selling window. So you kind of do need to almost have some inkling of what your decision would be on if he can play or if he can't.
Sure, but question, like, for every situation where it's a Trey Lance or an Anthony Richardson, what if he's a Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield? What if he's a Daniel Jones? Like, I just don't think that using only the negative examples is fair to JJ here.
No, of course. Yeah, you're right. It's possible that he could be one of those, especially given the pieces he has around him and all that kind of stuff. But that's kind of why I think he is more like the Trey Lance, Anthony Richardson example, is because those guys had great situations around them as well and still failed.
Sure. Again, 2 games. I'm not willing to automatically say he's ass.
Neither am I. I just lean towards being very, very pessimistic on what I think the likelihood of him hitting his ceiling is, until I see some real evidence of him doing it. Then I'll rise him up the rankings. I'm not like anti McCarthy in principle.
He played 6 bad quarters, and the 2 quarters 6. Because I mean, the end of the 3rd quarter in the first game he was good, and then the 4th quarter he literally took over. Yeah,
this is what I'm going to be looking for over the next couple of weeks. It's like, dude, you gotta look like rookie year Caleb Williams, at least, where we see moments of it. And we saw 1 quarter of moments of it. And I guess, better defenses than we thought and that kind of thing. I want to see some sustained success from this kid. That's basically where I'm at with JJ.
I'm just willing to give the kid grace. And I mean, part of the factor why I was willing to buy in on Justin Jefferson is that I think people are so willing to say right now the status quo, JJ McCarthy is a downgrade from Carson Wentz. I think that's outrageous, because Carson Wentz was quite literally horrible in these last couple of weeks. And again, I'll give him grace. He's playing through
he uncorks deep balls and stuff. I guess that's basically the difference.
I guess I will give him grace. The guy was toughing it out. Like, I have full respect for Carson Wentz playing through a fucking torn shoulder. Like, you know how you saw it every time he got up after a big hit, the guy's face looked like he just got hit by a bus.
Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit didn't seem to care. What was call you Kirk Herbstreit on the broadcast? Be like, you got to keep it together if you're the quarterback. I'm like, Herbstreit, you played with a torn labrum before? Dude, he played quarterback too, Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah, like, I got to give him credit for that, because like, he did not need to play as hurt as he was down the stretch. But at the same time, he understand, like, hey, he's not got permanence in the NFL. Any chance he has to start, he needs to take, because ultimately the Vikings are looking at him just to bridge the gap for when JJ gets back. You were never going to be a long-term piece of that Vikings organization.
Yeah, this is also, Ethan, you and I share the exact same opinion of him, is that he should be better. In those first 2 games, I know it was his first 2 games, he should have been better. That's my opinion of it as well.
Sure, he should have been better, but at the same time, like I said, who knows? What if he was coming into the year banged up, hence the ankle injury?
Yeah, no, it's definitely possible. We'll see what happens the next couple of weeks. That was a long discussion on JJ McCarthy. Do we want to do these dynasty team reviews? I mean, we're going to be live 4.5 hours from now.
Sure. I mean, we can do them after if you want. Doesn't really matter to me.
I kind of need to get my graphics done for tomorrow's video, and they take me like a couple hours to do. So that's kind of the only reason I'm saying that. Plus, again, the shorter this video is, I think, the probably more digestible and rewatchable it is for people afterwards. So any last thoughts on the draft board? And then we'll maybe sign out of here. Anything else that you go, I need to talk about this player, or I need to talk about that player, where you just like a dynasty discussion of any kind that you're like, we should get one more take in here?
I mean, not really much in particular. Like, I'm scanning through this board right now up here. I do think I got decent value on Pittman. It's funny. It's kind of like the year in, year out thing with him, but at the same time, he's in his prime, top 15 level wide receiver in fantasy. I mean, I think he's actually like a top 8 wide receiver in fantasy right now. So I do think just the way the Colts offense has looked and the amount of snaps he's going to be playing as the focal point of the team, because that was another factor. Tyler Kraft. Tyler Warren, better than expected. We expected him to be good, but I would say better than expected. But I also acknowledge that Josh Downs, we thought maybe would play a bigger role, and he's only a 60% snap share player. Like Pittman is the clear wide receiver one on the team. He is in his prime, and he's attached to a very good situation. I think at minimum, he's got to be viewed as, I mean, where do you have him ranked in your dynasty rankings?
I think it's about where you took him, if I'm not mistaken. I have Michael Pittman as my wide receiver 28, which is exactly where he went off the board.
I'm at 24. I think he's the ultimate, like, if you need the wide receiver 3 in your lineup, flex play in your lineup in a dynasty startup, like he's going to get you there. He's probably not going to be a guy like, who knows, maybe he spikes up like a Courtland Sutton did last year, where down the stretch he was averaging 19 points per game. Although, to be fair, I would argue that stretch that Courtland Sutton was doing, that is basically what we're getting from Michael Pittman in the first half of the year right now.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's a very good 1-for-1, honestly. Sutton versus Pittman, except Pittman's a bit younger.
Yeah. Last thing I would say too is Luther Burden goes off the board at 808 here. Too high, too low, just right.
Honestly, just about where I have him ranked. I have him. What wide receiver overall was that?
That was wide receiver 37. And 808 is like pick 90, something like that.
I have my wide receiver 31, so I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah, I think 31's a little high. I think that would bake in that maybe he takes over down the stretch, and I think that's looking less and less likely. I think we're going to be talking about Luther Burden as was he a face planter or not at the end of this season. Which
I'm willing to buy even as a face planter, because the targets per route run is there, the efficiency has been there, the snaps just haven't been. Which again, we kind of said would be
to earning a snap share though.
Yeah, but I would argue context matters specifically in this situation. Like, for example, JSN didn't get the full role in his rookie year. Roma Dunze on the same team didn't get the full role in his rookie year. Like, when you have 2 established veteran wide receivers compared to you, like, I understand Roma Dunze only a first-year player, but we also saw with Colson Loveland, top 10 pick, and it took him till week 7, week 8 to be a 70+% route share player. On top of that, with Burden, if you're doing a midseason startup right now, you don't really have to factor in his first 8 weeks. You're banking on him year 2 being a potential top 30 receiver. And to me, like at that point, I think he showed enough on the field in his limited sample to be able to bake that into his upside case.
So I just don't think any of those examples are relevant, because Roma Dunze ran 91% of the routes in his rookie season, just didn't play well.
JSN then.
JSN competed for snaps and reps with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Olamide Zaccheaus is playing ahead of Luther Burden right now.
Roma Dunze and DJ Moore are veteran wide receivers in that receiving room.
Right, but Olamide Zaccheaus is running more routes than him right now, 62% to 24% on the season. Like, there was never an issue of routes for JSN or Roma Dunze as a rookie.
Let's have this conversation on Luther Burden 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think he's shown enough on the field to be able to value in the upside.
Is like a full status Quentin Johnston level project. And Quentin Johnston obviously has paid off since his rookie season when he lost a shit ton of value. I worry that if you buy into Luther Burden now at, like, let's say wide receiver 31 price tags where you have him ranked, he'll be worth wide receiver 45 price tags at the end of the offseason. And I'm kind of just like ranking him a little bit closer to that now, assuming that he won't really have much of a great back half of the season. I just don't think we're going to get an excellent Luther Burden second half of the year.
And that's totally reasonable. Again, I have him where I would value him. If I can pay less than that, I will pay less than that. And to be honest, I don't see any scenario I have him lower than wide receiver 31 going into next offseason.
Okay. All right. Even if he continues doing exactly what he's been doing?
Yeah, I think at this point I'm valuing him as a year 2 projection, and I've seen enough what I've needed to see on the limited snaps to declare him a good player.
Okay. That's fair. I think I'm not quite there yet, but I get the argument. I think he was a good conversation to have, just because he is a player that you kind of need to be patient with for sure. And I'm a little bit more impatient with him, because I do think there's been opportunities to at least see him on the field a little bit more. Like, I'm not saying he needs to be a 12 to 15 fantasy point per game producer for me to actually like the player. He's been 24% of the route participation guy. Like, if you can't beat out Olamide Zaccheaus, in my opinion, I think you must just be really raw. Like, the coaching staff just must not have much faith in you to do the right things that you need to do.
Sure. If you're talking about strict production equity, there's players in the range with better production equity. But Corey, the way I value wide receiver 25 on is who can gain the most value. And to me, Luther Burden, he's one of the few wide receivers I can actually envision a scenario. He's a top 16 to 20 wide receiver in Dynasty.
You're right about that. I think that the likelihood
I don't think it's a linear
projection said top 16 wide receiver ranking is looking dimmer for me than it is for you.
And this year, sure, but at the same time, we got a wide receiver with a 24% targets per hour run who's made big plays every time he's gotten the opportunity. Like I think the usage is the problem. The efficiency hasn't been, and that's why I'm willing to buy in on him.
Yeah. Again, he could also just like, he might do the intangible stuff. Yeah, it's fair. It's definitely possible. I just think that if Burden was the type of receiver who one day would be valued as a top 16 dynasty wide receiver, working hard and blocking hard would only get you so far, if that makes any sense.
I don't disagree, but like Ethan says, like different coaches have different philosophies. What if Ben Johnson's more old school and thinking like, I got to do right by my veterans and I can't play these rookies until they completely show in practice that they are working hard enough. Like we don't know how
Mike Vrabel is thinking in New England as well, with Trevion Henderson.
Well, exactly. Like I think we can only do so much to assume rational coaching. I think in most instances, rational coaching should be the expectation, but we also have to acknowledge that there's certain contexts, there's certain scenarios where some coaches are more old school and just want to see you come in with that work ethic because they don't want to do wrong by their vets.
Yeah, definitely fair. Anyways, that'll do it for this Dynasty Startup mock draft. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the discussion. We haven't really checked in too much on a lot of these, Dynasty players and whatnot. Today we were, debating, do we do kind of some Dynasty video? Do we do more redraft centric video? We went with a Dynasty video here. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this, and leave a like if you did, subscribe to the channel. Of course, if you guys want a free team review, you can sign up over on flockfantasy.com. Annual Mother Flockers do get a free team review. You get 30% off any of the packages, 7 days for free. We will be live a couple hours from now, 6 p.m. Eastern or so, to break down Thursday night football stuff. My weekly rankings are up to date. The weekly matchup charts I'm about to go update right now, and then make my graphics for matchups that matter tomorrow. So make sure to stay tuned for all of that stuff, and we will have you covered for this week. But it was a good little pause in the middle of the week, check in on some Dynasty stuff, have some conversations about some tough valuations, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So appreciate you guys, all of you who joined the mock. If you did join it, I can't see the usernames at the moment. I tried doing it during the mock, like handing out vouchers, and it wasn't letting me. So just make sure you tune into the stream later today and tell us that you were in the mock, and then we'll send out some vouchers for you. I'll try after we sign off here. Maybe I'll try and sending out those for you guys. But yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Peace out. We'll talk to you later today.